Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Create. Welcome to Coffee and Create. How are you? I'm Diane, and we are here live at Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina on a very chilly Tuesday morning, the second Tuesday of the year, and I have paintbrushes in both my hands this week. I am working on the china cabinet base. I think I finally have it all stripped, except I want to show you a problem area that we have. And because it's so cold and I still don't have my heat, I want to use my other hand and I'll show you a project I started on. Just a quick, simple freshen up. You can see the chair behind me. This is not the chair that goes to the dining room suite. She already picked that up. We are just finishing working on the china cabinet, and this base has been a beast because it was painted with a chalk style paint. And even though I prepped when I did, the chalk style paint started peeling off. If you were here with me, you remember I sprayed it and wiped it and the paint came right off. And so I prepped it, used my razor blade, and I have literally stripped this entire piece with prep and a razor blade and a scrubby pad and a towel, because I've never seen a paint do that. The paint that was used on that piece should not have done that. It's a fluke, but it happens. And when it happens, you have to take your corrective measures to ensure that you have a good base to start painting. Because if you don't have a good base to start painting, nothing you do is going to make your finish look great. Chris, good morning. Happy New Year, and thanks for being here this morning. We are going to do two different projects, so bear with my crazy mind. Good morning, LaDon. Because it's cold, because our heat is still not fixed, it takes a long time, a little bit longer for the paint to dry. And because I get bored, I started a new project. Of course I did. I want to show you first the problem area that we're dealing with on this china cabinet base. Let me move you in a little bit. I don't want to move the second camera because I have it trained perfectly on the door, on the cabinet door. So I'll move this camera so I can get you in there and show you what's going on with this piece. Now you'll remember 2 weeks ago, we used prep. We're a little bit crooked here. We used prep, we used a scrubby pad, and I used my straight razor blade. Because y'all know I've got a skill set there. I had to spray this and strip it completely. I did the sides, I did the face, I got here. And I did not completely get all of the paint off. Good morning, Alice. There was still some paint left in the crevices on here. And I don't know that I'll be able to get you in close enough, but I'm gonna try. Look, I'm just gonna pick the camera up. So when I got here, what I found when I started painting it, you see how rough that is in here? And maybe I'm the only one that can see this, but you see in the crevices where I did not get the paint off, and especially right here, y'all, that paint started balling up. As I ran my paintbrush with Rethunk Junk across it, it just started balling up. So what to do? I'm gonna have to strip this again, because I have to get that bad paint off this piece of furniture, or it will never look like this. Look how beautiful that surface is. Now, listen to my dry hands go across the top of it. I can feel a little bit of, pardon me, y'all. I can feel a little bit of trash in the paint, and that'll drive me crazy. Sorry, bobble, bobble. That'll drive me crazy. So on that top surface, I'm going to take my scrubby pad and I'm just gonna cut it. I wanna cut it, clean it, and make sure that this top surface is as smooth as it can be. Really, all you've got to do is take that scrubby and go back and forth. Now, this is a very well-loved scrubby pad, so as I go back and forth across it, any of your Scotch-Brite scrubby pads have a tendency to leave grit. Once you finish smoothing your surface, and I'm going to go twice because I'm just so thrilled that the paint is not coming off. Once you smooth your surface, you want to grab your Rethunk Junk dusting brush, and you want to make sure you clean all of that grit right back off. If you don't, then what you're going to have is grit right back in your paint, and you didn't just smooth it to make it gritty again. Now, I don't feel trash in it. It's nice and smooth. This is going to be a beautiful finish. Here's something really cool to take note of. I just scrubbied this paint. It did not come off. The trash came off, not the paint. Let me take it one step further. You think I have confidence in my Rethunk Junk paint? Lynette, good morning. Oh, yes, our weather changed very quickly, and I don't do cold real well, y'all. I just don't do cold real well. You were here 2 weeks ago, and you saw the paint just lift off this piece of furniture. This is how much confidence I have in our Rethunk Junk paint. Now, yesterday I put another coat on top, so this is less than 24 hours painted. Less than 24 hours painted. Watch this. This better work the way I intend. This is my spray bottle of Prep, and I'm gonna spray the surface. And I'm gonna take my scrubby pad, and I'm going to clean the surface of this again. And I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna scrub it. That right there is exactly how durable the finish on Rethunk Junk paint is. Let me show you what came off. That's it. That's all. You can see my fingerprints. That's how hard I was pressing. That is all that came off that surface. And folks, if you're painting furniture for your own home, if you are painting furniture for someone else, that is the kind of finish that you want your furniture to have, because it's your name at the end of the day. And if you use a product like we saw 2 weeks ago, where I sprayed it with Prep and did the exact same thing and the paint just peeled off, that's not a good finish, and that's not what you pay for. When you buy your paint and you spend your time, you want it to be amazing. You want it to look amazing, and you want it to last. With Rethunk Junk paint products, you will get both those things and then some. So when I stripped this, except for this door space here, I set this piece of furniture up. Boy, that feels good now. I set this piece of furniture up for the most amazing finish that our customer could imagine. And I am hopeful to get the base of this finished today and start on the top tomorrow. I am going to be hindered because of the temperatures, but I am not going to slow down. A paintbrush in each hand. Let me show you the cabinet door. Let's go in here, and I'm going to bring this in because I want you to see the difference in using paintbrushes. Now, you see my Miracle brush laying there. I've got my phone laid out because I need to use it to show you something. When I use my regular 2-inch Wooster paintbrush, it does a job. But what it also does is leave extra paint in the grooves and the architecture that I have to chase. And you've heard me say it before. Watch your ridges and your edges, because that's where your paint will pool up and cause problems in your life that you don't want your paint to cause. Now let me show you what I mean. I'm not going to use my 2-inch, I'm going to use my 1-inch. I'm over here now. Wrong camera. All right, I'm going to show you with my flat 1-inch. And here's why when I get ready to do a cabinet surface, I change brushes. And it's okay to have more than one paintbrush going at the same time. If you make sure you have the right tools for the job, then when you do the job, you will have great results. All right, if I use my flat brush and I hit that edge, you see how my brush sort of separates and it doesn't hit down here. Can you see that? Let me move you in closer. Let's get you where you can see that, because that's really an important part of your finish. Not only do you want your paint to be durable, but you want your paint to be really pretty and smooth. And when you lay a flat brush down on the surface, you don't get full contact. And when you have architecture, like your cabinet doors, then you'll end up chasing paint drips in these grooves. I hate to chase paint. The solution is your Miracle brush. It's tapered, so when you get ready to hit your curved or your architectural surfaces, your Miracle brush moves into those grooves because it can. Do you see how that brush does not split the same way this brush does? Look how that brush splits. And guess what? All it's doing is squishing paint down into this crack, and all you're gonna do is chase paint. And that is if you remember to check your ridges and your edges. When you load up your Miracle brush with your paint product and you go down your surface, you are not splitting your surface, you're covering it. And as a result, you won't have to chase paint drips and runs. It gives you an absolutely perfect finish. It gets in the grooves and the cracks and the small crevices, and it gives you the pretty, smooth finish that you're looking for. This has some crazy architecture to it, but just like that, it's covered and it's smooth. Above it's challenging because you don't want to cram a lot of paint on top of that piece. This is an embellishment. This stands out. This should be a focal point. And if you end up with a lot of paint across the top or in those ridges on it where it's carved out, then you will lose your detail, and then there's no point in it being a focal point. Your Miracle Brush also does your flat surfaces just fine. It takes a little more because it's not a large surface brush, but look at it go. This is just the same no matter whether you are doing a small piece of decor, whether you are doing a large piece of furniture, whether you're doing a lamp. This would be perfect for doing lamps. No matter what surface you're painting, your Miracle Brush is a must-have for your toolkit. And I think I have several of them so that I can keep them clean and fresh and use them whenever I need to finish a piece with just about a perfect surface finish. This is going to look beautiful. I'm going to drop this brush down and we're going to shift our attention. I know that's hard to believe, but let's shift our attention while this cabinet door dries over here to this chair. There we go. I wanted, and that's why I had my phone out, I wanted to show you this tabletop, but my photos were not cooperating with my software this morning. So here's the tabletop. Let me get you in the right place for the camera. We've all seen these. They are relatively inexpensive. This one is a drop leaf. It had 2 chairs with it. This is one. But you see the orangey finish? Over time, this is not cool anymore. This is not a cool finish. It's orange. Yellowy, orangey, something or another. Not the color and finish. That would look amazing on this cute little table with 2 chairs. And that's literally all it has, is 2 chairs. It's a perfect breakfast nook table, all except for the fact that this is really dated and not pretty. It's not pretty. We're gonna make it pretty. So I took the cloud because I was waiting for paint to dry yesterday and I had paint on my brush, so I used it. And I based the entire top in cloud. Then I took another brush and I went over it with Wheatfield. So now I have a nice little caramely finish on the top. And when I finish that, I will take Oyster. Michelle, good morning. I will take my oyster and I will add my 3rd layer of color, and then I will seal it with the rich brown wash, which is a sealer and a hardener with just a touch of color. And then this won't be orange anymore. It will be updated, fresh, cottagecore, farmhouse, breakfast nook-ish, and it will be updated for use today. It'll look great. It won't look orange, yellow. But I have these awesome spindles, and I do not want to cover these spindles when I get ready to paint. Real simple solution, get your tape out. It doesn't have to be the wide tape, but this is what I'm using. I think I left, there's our train. I think I left our narrow tape at the house uptown when I was working on the doors. Take your long edge, the straightest edge, so your factory edge of your tape, and you want to bring that down around the bottom of the chair, and you want to manipulate it, pull it up, push it down. It doesn't matter if the top of your tape up here is straight. It's not going to be. But what you don't want is you don't want any of your white on the bottom of this spindle showing, because you don't want your paint going on your spindles. We're going to use 3 different colors: cloud, wheat field, and oyster. And you don't want any of those on your spindles. So get your tape. The spindles are angled into the seat bottom, so you'll have to angle your tape. Angle it so that it is covered at the bottom, and if it's poofy at the top, it's okay. Let it be poofy at the top. This is a little tedious. You might have to tear it, you might have to move it, you might have to take it off and do it again. I'm going to tear that piece off so that when I lay the factory edge of the tape back around here, I'm at the base of the spindle so I don't get my 3-color paint finish on the spindle. Manipulate the tape any way you need to so that you have those spindles covered. And really, it doesn't take long. It is tedious, but it doesn't take long. And then grab another piece and swoosh it around just like that. And just like that, we're ready. Now, since I have my white paint out, let's go ahead and base this in white. We'll do the same process we do for everything else. Spray that chair with prep. Use your prep liberally. Do not hold back. You want this surface, look at my white paint coming off. You want this surface ready to accept the paint, because we don't want a situation like the china cabinet base where the paint just peels off. We just can't have that, because our name is on this and we take those things very seriously. Do your edge. Make sure to scrub your edge well. Do the back, because the backs of the chairs are always what I find to be the most dirty when I bring new used furniture in here. And that's because the backs of the chairs just don't get cleaned like everything else. Scrub in between real well. You want good adhesion when you put that paint on. And Michelle, if you go back and watch later and you remember 2 weeks ago when we were working on the china cabinet base and I had to strip the whole thing, I just sprayed prep on my freshly painted surface and used a scrubby pad and did not take the paint off. Did not take the paint off. There we go. Nice and clean. Ready to paint. I'm gonna make sure I get in between these spindles really well. I don't want dirt in my fresh white cloud paint. Cloud is the purest white that Rethunk Junk Paint offers, and it is just beautiful, pure white. Perfect for all of your fresh kitchen finishes. It is a beautiful, beautiful color. Let me show you. I'm going to use my Miracle brush. Let me tamp some of the water off. I'm going to use my Miracle brush in between the spindles, and I can use it across the seat of the chair, but I want to make sure that I use the Miracle brush so I don't have ridges and edges and drips and caked up paint. And my Miracle brush is perfect for that kind of finish. I love my brushes. They all have a purpose in life. Now, I will warn you, Don't let your tape sit on there for too long. If you do, when you go to peel the tape off, you'll peel paint. It's just the nature of the beast. You might have to tape off more than one time. You might have to tape off with each color combination you do, but don't leave the tape on too long, or the paint will adhere to the tape, and then when you get ready to take the tape off, the paint's going to go with the tape. Why is that? Well, it's the nature of the beast. You're painting around that tape, so there's adhesion to the tape, right? When you pull that tape, that paint's going to be stuck to that tape, because that paint's going to stick to what it's supposed to stick to, everything. We saw that a little while ago, right? It will do the same thing. And plus, it doesn't really matter what kind of paint you use. That's generally speaking the way it works. When Scott was painting cars, time they finished painting, they pulled the tape all the way around that edge with your Miracle brush. Spin the chair. Let's get this edge right here. We've got a nice solid base of color all the way around the edge and at the back of the chair. Let's hit this surface here. I've got the little heater on, so we should be able to dry this paint fairly easily. And then I tell you what we're going to do, paintbrush in each hand. We're going to put another coat of paint on the top of the china cabinet base, because we want to go ahead and get that china cabinet base finished. We want to deliver the china cabinet in full, beautiful color. We're going to paint it. We're going to distress it with our distress stamp so it matches the chairs and the table. And we're going to make a young lady very happy with her dining room. She's thrilled with her table and chairs. And just like that, our chair is covered. First coat in cloud, and when we get to our second coat, I'll show you here because my photos were not working. Let's get the glare off my phone. There we go. Oh, there's that glare. I'll see if I can't post the pictures a little bit later. That's terrible. There we go. It's just a streaky mess on my phone. Let's see if I can make it work. Let's see if I can make that work. Still not there. All right. Sorry, y'all. Sorry to stick my finger right up in your face. Good morning, Miss Judy. Oh, Miss Judy, you missed it. You would have loved the demonstration with prep on the top of this china cabinet base. We're going to let this dry. I'm going to scooch it out of the way. Let's bring this beautiful piece straight in the camera. And I'm even going to turn the camera a little bit so you've got a perfect view of the activities. I'm going to take just a paper towel because I have my brush sitting in my cup of water. So if you come in the store and I'm in the studio, I keep a cup of water handy. In between coats, I keep my brushes damp. I want to make sure that I don't let the paint dry on my brushes. 1, I love my brushes. 2, Rethunk Junk paint will not come off your brush if you let it dry to the brush. Most paints won't come off if you let it dry to the brush. I wash my brushes when I'm through in warm water. I rinse them real well, and then I let them soak in Murphy's oil soap. It is good stuff for your brushes. Soak them in Murphy's oil soap and then rinse them down again. Move that out of my way so I don't trip and kill myself. One more coat on the top, And this top should be done. It is going to be a beautiful finish, and I'll tell you, even though it's cold in here, I'm still going to spritz with water. It is a habit I have gotten into. I love how it moves the paint easier, and I love how when it's cold and the paint wants to gum up, it sort of just releases it, frees it up so that when you move it, it glides. This is going to be a beautiful piece of furniture. I am excited to work this to the finish. It has been a booger bear. But Miss Judy, you remember we were peeling that paint off by spraying it with Prep, and it just came off. And this Rethunk Junk paint does not do that. And I love it for that and so many more reasons. But this is gonna be a beautiful finish. Now, I'm going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and we always say don't overwork the paint. You'll get brush strokes, you'll get dry spots. You will, but I wanna make sure while it's good and wet, and that's another good reason that I spritz my paint with water, I want to make sure that my brush strokes are straight. It is human nature to angle your arms when you go what you think is in a straight line. And Laura taught me this, and I've taught you this, but I'll show you again. Wave at me. Go ahead. It's okay if everybody in the office can see you. It is natural for your arm to pivot on an arch. That's the way God made our bodies. We pivot our arm on an arch. So when you're painting, if you do not physically and consciously make sure that you move that brush in a straight line, you will end up with a rainbow arch on your surface. Now, why does that make a difference if the paint self-levels? It just does. The paint will self-level, but do you want your paint to self-level in a rainbow arch or in a straight line with the grain of the wood? I want mine in a straight line with the grain of the wood. If I find that I am working the paint and I still have arch lines, because that's human, I simply take my spray mist of water and I mist the paint again before it starts drying well. And that gives me a little bit more time to work the paint without damaging the surface or balling the paint up or pulling the paint up or overworking the paint. I move physically with the brush to ensure that I am straight lining it, because I will arch this paintbrush in a heartbeat. It's just physically the way we are made. And I find that the slower I do it, the more arch I do. If I just go ahead and do it and don't overthink it, I can get straight lines all the time. Straight down the line, just like that. Nice and smooth, even coat, even lines, just like that. I never, after I looked at it, thought it would take me so long to get all of the chalk paint off this piece of furniture. But the more I work this piece of furniture, the more excited I am about how amazing the finish will be when I'm done. This will be a great piece, and it's gonna look stunning in her dining room. She already has her dining room table and chairs set up. I'm gonna scoot this out of the way. this is almost dry. Let me see if I can ease it back over. And I don't want to blend my colors, but I want to go ahead, 2 paintbrushes, 1 in each hand. 1 in each hand. This is Wheatfield. This is a beautiful color. I date my containers for when I open them, and that way I know that if it's in my tool shed, I should go shake it every now and again. But I also know how long this paint will last. Rethunk Junk has an amazing shelf life. I have paint that has lasted for several years in colors that I forgot I had open, and I opened another one. But I don't have to worry about it going bad because it's not going to go bad. It's good. All right. Let me switch cameras here. We're going to go right there. The door's looking fantastic. No drips, no runs, no ridges, no edges. The Miracle Brush did its job. But let me scoot you right here. Here we go. We're going to start the year with a paintbrush in each hand. I love it. A little bit of Wheatfield right here. A little bit of Wheatfield. I don't need a lot. I don't want a lot. And I am going to spritz this because I want this Wheatfield to move. I don't want full coverage. I want gentle coverage. I want straight lines, and I want to be able to see my white underneath, because we're going to do a multi-tonal, multicolored finish. We'll update this little breakfast nook while we're waiting for the china cabinet base paint to dry. And we'll just paint all the things. It's the new year. We can do that. Just do it. Just grab 2 or 3 paintbrushes. Start as many projects as you want. Make sure you finish them. Don't splash your paint as you're going by your fresh white. And that's easy, just don't sling your paintbrush. Just don't sling your paintbrush, and you won't have that issue. All right, just like that. Boom, chakalaka. Look at that beautiful tone over tone. We've got our white strain, we've got our Wheatfield, and when we put our oyster over the top of this, then I'll use the rich brown wash to seal it, and we will have a brand new dinette set. Little kitchenette, little breakfast nookie thing. Sit down, drink your coffee, enjoy your day, right? It is 9:40, and we can wait for paint to dry if you want to. But I'm just saying, probably not. It's not a good day for it. In order to fix this side of the cabinet where the Rethunk Junk paint balled up whatever was still on here, I'm gonna have to take my sanding block, I'm gonna have to take some sandpaper, and I may have to break out my Dremel and some of my small tools to get in the crevices. It's gonna be a mess, and I'm gonna be down on the floor, and that's not a pretty place for an old person to be. I might break a hip. But I'm gonna have my coffee, and I am going to pull this tape. I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna do the surface of the table, and I will post the photographs so you can see the progression. We did the base of the tabletop in Cloud. because that's what I had in my hand. And then we went over it with Wheatfield, just like we just did the chair seat. And then we will go over that with Oyster. I'll post the photographs and share with you as we go. Gracie, thank you. I love the paint products and the tools that we have here at Two Girls Treasure. You can go on the live shopping tab on our website. The Coffee and Create collection from last week is available. It is. Last week I clicked on it. Later in the day, someone sent something to me and I went and said, no, everything's not there. There was only one product up on the collection. So last week's project products are available for you to see and shop. Also, if you are a Rethunk Junk bag holder, with your bag, come back in with your bag. When you purchase any of the Coffee and Create collection colors or products, you will save 10% on your purchase this week. Absolutely. Those bags are amazing. I think we have maybe 4 left. The bag is free with purchase of $50 in Rethunk Junk paint products or more. It comes with a free prep, so you don't even have to spend the money on the prep. I will give you the prep. Spend your money on the paint and the paint brushes. If you want to order online, your Rethunk Junk bag is free with your $50 or more purchase. That does not include your shipping, but we do ship Rethunk Junk paint products for a flat rate. So you are still eligible to save if you are a bag holder. In store, there's no coupon code necessary. If you're ordering online, you will need a coupon code. Message me if you are a Rethunk Junk bag holder, and I'll make sure to provide that coupon code to you. I'm Diane Pruitt, and you're a bag lady. Yes, you are. LaDawn, you are a Rethunk Junk bag lady. I love it. Thank you so much. There are still free with purchase gifts besides the prep. LaDawn, don't tell what you got, but you did get a free gift with purchase. It was a Christmas gift, wasn't it? Oh, and if you make your purchases from the Coffee and Create collection before the end of January, I have another free gift for you. I love giving things away, and I love my Rethunk Junk paint products. I'm Diane Pruitt. We are at Two Girls Treasure at the PD State Farmers Market in Florence, South Carolina. Share this video with your friends and family. They're painters too. And maybe there is something in here for the last 45 minutes that would be helpful to them as well. Thank you so much for spending your precious time here with me. I am looking forward to seeing you again soon. I think we will have something special tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. I will have an announcement posted by this afternoon for what time tomorrow to join us again live here at Two Girls Treasure. In the meantime, I'm gonna grab my cup of coffee because it's cold in South Carolina today and it's really cold inside this building. Hopefully they'll have our heat fixed today and we can live life large and in multiple colors of Rethunk Junk paint. Y'all have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here.